0. Alright, let's begin. Welcome everyone to the Hedgehog's Dilemma. This video should be premiering on Thanksgiving, so to that we say Happy Thanksgiving. Today's topic...
Happy Thanksgiving, I guess,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, everyone say Happy Thanksgiving. Why not? We liven things up.
Happy Thanksgiving! Let's go!
Alright then, so today we're going to be talking about Sonic 4 Episodes 1 and 2. So we'll talk about Episode 1 first, and then Episode 2. So who wants to go ahead and start and talk about their Episode 1 experience?
I guess I can go first. Usually I think I remember, getting episode 1 after, hearing it was, a new 2D Sonic game made by Dimps. The same people that made the Rush Trilogy and also the Advanced Trilogy. Mostly I was kind of excited, but when I first played it, I was kind of disappointed, honestly.
Okay. I didn't play Episode 1 until this year, when I was making a video in regards to it. And so I got the WiiWare version of it, which I think the only main difference with that version, besides the others, is that it uses different variations of the music found in the other versions. But besides that, it's practically the same game. And I played through the first 2 zones and kind of called it quits. I didn't really like the fact that you had to use the Wiimote in order to play the game, because I was really wanting to use the controller that I use for practically all my games. So that was kind of a letdown, and personally I didn't really enjoy it that much for those only 2 zones that I played. But yeah, that's really my episode 1 experience. I kind of do hate the fact that you have to pay money for the mobile version and whatnot. And I probably wouldn't have that much of an issue with it if it weren't for the fact that episode 4 is available. Well, episode 4, episode 2 is available for free on the App Store. Just saying.
Yeah.
Understandable, I get it.
I remember being pretty hyped back when it was announced, and when I played the demo on, I think, what was it, Xbox 360? I thought it was pretty cool, but looking back at it now, and especially when we have, Mania to compare to it, it did not live up to what it was supposed to be. It's not Sonic 4. Even though it's called Sonic 4, it really
It's
isn't.
just not. For me, the real Sonic 4 has to be Sonic Advance. Because mostly, even though it kind of goes the same format like Sonic 1 did, it still was a good game overall, honestly.
Yeah, to be fair, that was more of a Sonic 4 than the actual Sonic 4.
I think the biggest issue with Sonic 4 Episode 1 has to be the fact that the game was initially developed for mobile, and they just decided to push it out on consoles for money.
Which kind of pushed Sonic's obscurity even more.
It ruined the reception of the shoot. It ruined the reception of the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
it could have been just a simple little mobile game. They didn't really have to put it on console, and they especially didn't have to call it Sonic 4. Could have called it Sonic Portable or something.
They could have just called it like Sonic Rift or something. Stop.
No.
If I remember correctly, in development, the game was originally going to be titled Sonic the Portable, which would have made much more sense with it being a mobile phone-based game. But seeing as how Sonic's,
people, seeing how it was gonna be 2D, they just wanted it to be called Sonic 4, even though they made the Advanced Trilogy, which people say it's the actual Sonic 4, 5, and 6.
Personally, I don't believe that's the reason why they named the game Sonic 4. I think they only labeled it for nostalgia purposes because of Sonic's reception. Because the mid 2000s, all the games, well, majority of the games at that time were received pretty poorly. And seeing as how Sonic needed some sort of way to get out of the rut that he kind of dug himself into, Sonic 4 at the time seemed like the perfect way to go.
Yeah, they needed that money. They want that easy money.
They always wanted it. It's so stupid.
And I guess that kind of worked for them, seeing as how the game got a sequel.
That's fair, and at least the sequel kind of did things a bit better, but honestly, it was
Honestly,
disappointment all
like,
around.
I'm gonna talk about the gameplay for a second. The gameplay, though, is something else. Mostly, I want to talk about the homing attack for a second. Why did they add a homing attack, which was made for the 3D games, in the 2D games, which kind of makes no sense, honestly? Like, I know the Rush Trilogy, the Advanced Trilogy had it, but it was kind of like a little bonus, honestly, but really.
Personally, I have no idea why the homing attack was included. I think the homing attack may have been included to simplify the gameplay, seeing as how homing attack chains are abundant, along with the boost pads in Sonic 4, to kind of have the game be played at, I guess, the developer's pace, which I think is just a very baffling move, considering the fact that Sonic games really derive off the fact, specifically the 2D games, derive off the usage of momentum to kind of play the game at your own pace and build up your own speed.
Okay, but mostly, yeah. Like, the problem was with, like the Genesis games, like, they keeping speed. Like, you had to keep that momentum going. But Sonic 4 honestly doesn't have no momentum, honestly.
I think that issue can be attributed to the fact that the game kind of has some sort of pseudo Rush-like physics with it, because Rush itself, it's mad carried by the boost. Without playing Rush without the boost, you can notice that the game has like no momentum whatsoever in its game engine. But I think that Rush's level design kind of helps complement the physics, and
And
that's
the
why it
boost
makes
mechanic,
it, like,
personally.
and it kind of makes the game not feel as jarring as Sonic 4. Sonic 4 really takes a lot from the Genesis games in terms of, I guess, its control style, with the removal of the boost, trick system, the tighter platforming that Rush is more inclined to. Without all of that, it really shows the flaws with Rush's engine. Like I said, it's not necessarily the exact same engine as used in the DS games, but it's some sort of pseudo Genesis Rush like combination that doesn't really translate well into the gameplay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I
considering
can
it's
agree with you there, but
it's like the same
mostly,
developers.
the rest of the gameplay, honestly, is kind of one-to-one to the Genesis games, mostly. But like the spin dash is kind of watered down a bit from, like, usually I kind of don't like it in the game, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, the better way to get speed in that game would just be to abuse the little air dash that they gave Sonic, because
Yeah, like, there's also, like, the air dash in, like, the advanced games. Like, it was kind of useful in that game, actually.
that's true, but at least that game's like physics were at least closer to Genesis, whereas this game just fails.
Utterly.
I do think that the jump dash that is used and was included in the remaining games as some sort of boost option, I personally think that was entirely unintentional at the end of the day. I don't think that Dimps would actually use that to use that as like an option, a speed option. I think that was just done out of the fact that other Sonic games use an air dash if you don't homing attack on an enemy. And even looking at
Yeah.
like at Sonic games that do use the homing attack, you can't really hit max speed using it, or I guess like break the speed cap with the homing attack in said games. So I think that's definitely unintentional from Dimps.
But the thing is, like, also I'm gonna go back to the homing attack for a second. The art, like, the targeting with the homing attack, like, I know that was like an addition, but why would you have to add it in there though? That kind of makes no sense to me.
Wait, what doesn't make sense?
The targeting thing, like with the homing attack.
You mean like the targeting reticle?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's been in every single Sonic game since like post 06. So I feel like that's also just done out of the fact that Sonic games do that.
Yeah, I guess I can agree with you there, honestly.
And to be fair, the reticle, it does benefit, and at least for me, to see which enemy you're targeting to. Without the reticle, it's kind of just guess in the air on which enemy you're going to hit. Most likely the nearest enemy, 9 times out of 10. But I still think the reticle isn't that bad of an addition in Sonic 4 Episode 1.
I can see that, but the story is basically lackluster, honestly. Mostly, it's basically like a 1-to-1 with Sonic 1, basically. Eggman's capturing animals. Stop him.
Along with the level themes too, those are really uninspired. I feel like they could have done a lot better, but I guess they were they were just trying to invoke nostalgia, like with the name.
I guess personally, for me, the only stage that I can kind of give a bit of props to, or at least the stages in general, is that they tried to at least, only to the minimal degree, add a little bit of gimmicks to make them
And a
stand
little
out.
bit of originality.
True.
Yeah,
But
true.
I feel like
true.
that Mania in Episode 2, they definitely built upon those concepts that 4 Episode 1 did, and they do it so much better. On the topic of story too as well, I also disagree on the game being a 1-to-1 story adaptation of Sonic
Had a
1's.
story?
Yeah, it's
Sonic-
kind of like, to me, it's kind of like a 1-to-1 to Sonic 1, basically. Like, it's kind of like that, but
I disagree with that. Sonic 1's story, while basic, I think due to the game being the first one in the series, it does have some sort of benefits, like with the fact that the main focus of Sonic 1's story was Eggman taking over South Island in search of the Chaos Emerald so he could take over the world. Sonic 4's story is just Eggman is doing something bad, go stop him. Those are two entirely different things.
Yeah.
Let's talk
But,
about.
yeah.
We can talk about the music of Sonic 4 Episode 1.
oh my god, can I say my least favorite track out of the entire game has to be the boss theme. It's so bad.
It's such a pain to listen to this soundtrack because underneath some pretty good compositions is this awful excuse that Sega Genesis sound almost. I don't know what Jun was thinking when he did this, but like
Maybe he was on drugs or something? You never know.
I don't know, but the pseudo Sega Genesis sounds he used, just he didn't have to use them. He could have found like there's literally VSTs out there that emulate Sega Genesis sounds. Why didn't he just use that? It's weird to say that Sonic's voice's classic Sonic themes kind of sound better. Just a little bit.
But since we're talking about music, I guess we can move on to basically the second part of Sonic 4.
Actually, I do want to throw in my 2 cents in regards to music in Sonic 4 Episode 1. I personally think that the compositions, outside of the chiptune filter that was introduced in there, I think on their own, some of them do sound pretty good, or at least decent to worse. I think Splash Hill is mad underrated. It isn't necessarily bad per se. I'd say it's probably the least worst sounding song in that game. And I feel like the chiptune, I guess the reason for the whole chiptune thing is also credited to the fact that this game is trying to really appeal to being an old, and I put in heavy air quotes, old Sonic game. And I think
Yeah, I don't like that.
that ultimately became the music's detriment. 4 did do a lot better in terms of music, but I still think if they just didn't go that direction with using chiptune, or I guess fake chiptune music, the OST would sound a lot better. If I remember correctly, Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games has remixes of Splash Hill.
Yeah.
Actually, can I say something? Actually, in terms of like before we go into episode 2, I really do want to talk about the animation for a second. Oh my god, I don't know about the animation though.
I mean, I think it does a decent job, but in terms of graphics in general, I don't really get why everything's so damn shiny. Everything looks like it's made out of plastic, Sonic included. I thought we were past that after Sonic Heroes. What the hell happened?
I don't honestly know. Like maybe they just wanted to go like with a Sonic Heroes type look, but that did not work with 2D.
Doesn't work regardless. I don't want to look at a hedgehog that's like all oiled up or made out of plastic. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Didn't they update his model in the mobile release of 4? So it's kind of a bit clashing with the art style.
I think they did, yeah.
Maybe, but I don't honestly remember.
Alright, let's move on to episode 2. So, anyone want to tell us their story with episode 2?
I guess I can start, but mostly episode 2, like, I was kind of disappointed in episode 1, when episode 2 was announced. I was kind of mixed about it, because there wasn't really any reason to, like, do an episode 2, but when I played it, it actually was kind of better than I expected, actually.
I remember playing the demo for episode 2. I thought it was alright. I didn't get to play the full game until a bit later. And I personally think episode 2 is just relatively decent of a 2D game in the Sonic series. There's nothing really too crazy that stands out, but it is an incredible step up from what was already established in episode 1.
Yeah, for sure. It really is a step up from the last game. It's still like definitely not as good as the originals or hell even the advanced games, but like they did
Or
do
maybe
better
even
with
the
this next
Rush
one.
games, honestly. But it did, like, do its job, and I like that, mostly.
Yeah, it looks better, plays a bit better. I think the level themes are slightly more inspired. Music's still suffering, but that's okay.
Alright. Graphically, the game looks 10 times better.
But mostly, I kind of like the tag team mechanic in the game, actually. It kind of mixes things up, and kind of mixes them up in, like, great ways, like, feel, but that's just me.
I'm mad disagree with that. I think the mechanics are incredible pace breakers and really show the level design's faults. Like why does why does the lifting assist why is it like mad nerfed from Sonic 3? I don't understand that. like you could say balancing issues, but even in the older games, using tails to assist you in platforming wasn't really that crazy. The level design was pretty sound, in which you couldn't really abuse tails to cheese every single level. And also that spin dashing one, I forgot what it's called, but that one, it just, you barely do anything. You just basically let the game play itself. Personally, I think they should have been implemented a lot better. It's a great idea in terms of concept, but execution, I think, is relatively poor.
Yeah, I think my only gripe with those tag team moves, aside from the ones you listed, is like each one of them has a really off-putting startup animation that just completely halts all your speed and momentum, and I I don't know, I just don't like that in my Sonic game. I don't want to be stopped on a dime just to look at something cool and then go back to what I was doing. I want to keep going.
Because, like Sonic Heroes and even Advance 3, when you perform some sort of team combo or, I guess, assist, it didn't stop you immediately in the action to just perform said thing. It was just right on the dime while you're moving, bada bing, bada boom, you're done. But Sonic 4 really just wants you to wait a little bit here, perform said team combo, then wait for it to end, and then you can keep going. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, for real.
Mm, yeah. Like I can agree with all your guys' statements, but it's kind of a meh to me. But it's fine, I guess.
Alright, let's talk about the story, since this one actually does have a story compared to episode 1.
I think it's interesting that they decided to bring back Little Planet of all things.
And also, they decided to like bring back Metal Sonic as like a literal playable character, in which I love that actually.
I think it's
Yeah.
it's kind of cool-ish. He's still just a skin of Sonic, and you only get to play through a couple levels. So even without the Metal Sonic DLC, it kind of isn't really that detrimental for me in terms of playing the game. Like Speed previously mentioned, I really like how Little Planet is reintroduced, because it's been a while, even now.
Like we ever really heard about Little Planet? Like we gone on all these other planets, like Lost Hex and a lot more, and it's just like we basically forgot about Little Planet and the time zones, honestly.
So, yeah, I do think though, Little Planet's significance in 4 episode 2 is kind of minimal to a fault. I mean, you don't really. There's not really that much, I guess, involvement gameplay wise with Little Planet, and its story focus is still minimal. But I do have to acknowledge and at least give credit for Sega on at least trying to dig in a little bit of Sonic's slightly obscure history with CD.
Yeah, I also find it really weird how like I believe in the beginning cutscene of episode Metal, that little DLC thing they did. Why is Metal in the bad future? That's a little weird.
Actually, it kind of makes sense because basically in the bad future, you either lose against him or kind of win. But mostly, I think you win against him, basically.
Yeah,
I mean that's fair, but that implies that Sonic left Little Planet in jeopardy and then like free it.
thank goodness Sonic
Either
4
that
isn't
it's the
canon.
canon ending or a non-canon ending, but
Sonic 4 episode 2 and episode 1 aren't canon, so they're more or less just spin-offs.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, music wise, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, 2 definitely improves a lot, but I still think due to episode 1, it's still kind of held with a couple restrictions music-wise, especially with the Genesis sound chip that they've been using with 1. But I do think June definitely at least worked his way around it, and stuff like Metal Sonic's boss theme. I think the boss theme in general, White Park Zone, Death Egg Mark II, those some really nice bangers in this game.
I can
That's
agree with
true.
you there.
Yeah, once again, a lot of the compositions in the game were solid, but that pseudo Sega Genesis sound that he was using just does not fit the compositions at all. It would have been way better if he tried to stay more true to how the Sega Genesis actually sounded instead of like dying ducks and meow noises.
Meow noises.
It's like, what the fuck was even that synth though? What the hell?
For episode 2 also did improve on trying to mix different elements of Sonic levels and gimmicks into one. I think that should also be accredited to that game. I think it is handled a lot better, but I think not enough. I feel like a little bit more time and fine tuning the game could have actually made those level gimmicks feel a lot more organic in the world building and gameplay.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
I also like the callbacks to Aquatic Ruin Zone and the Sylvania Castle Zone, and the little Metal Sonic race that you do on the Death Egg.
True, yeah. I think the first zone of episode 2 is actually really neat because like it's the first time we truly don't get a Green Hill Zone as a first stage in a 2D Sonic game like this. I mean, aside
Just
from
think,
Advance 3.
and really either actually I think it was Events 3 only or and Sonic 4 episode 2.
Yeah, Route 99 and not Aquatic Ruin Zone.
It's crazy.
It's cool though. I really like the vibe of that first zone. It looks really really nice, really tranquil almost.
Kind of like a little bit ancient, and I like it.
All right. Well, anything to add for Sonic 4, or I guess we can leave it off.
Honestly, no, but mostly, honestly, Sonic 4 is overall like episode 1 was kind of mediocre at best, and episode 2 was kind of decent, and yet we didn't get a part 3, which Dimps just said no.
I'm pretty sure episode 3 got canceled due to the success, or I guess lack of success, that Sonic 4 episode 2 got. The reception wasn't really that great, so I can see why canning episode 3 was the best option. I think an episodic Sonic game in that manner just doesn't work at all. Just
Yeah.
Unless you count like the adventure games, but
Those are less
Adventure games
episodic
are
and
a bit
more
different.
just like
well, the adventure games are like full-fledged games. It's just a sequel to a full-fledged game. Episode 1 and 2 are just parts of games that are just sold separately. And it's not like the Sonic 3 and Knuckles situation where they couldn't fit everything onto one cartridge. So,
it's probably more or less like they weren't expecting to make a sequel because it was literally supposed to be a mobile game, and they just decided to say to hell with it. We'll do episode 2.
just honestly, both of them overall, it's basically like mixed to me.
alright. Well, anything more to add for 4, or are we done for the day?
I think we covered all bases.
Alright. Well, thank you everyone for watching / listening to the podcast. If you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Happy Thanksgiving, of course. And we will see you guys next time.
Enjoy your Turkey Day.
But I think next time we're gonna talk about Lost World, but mostly we'll see.